Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 19 of Egginburgh, our Cities Skylines 2 series. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Incredibly hard to start watching the transport hub that we set up last episode. I'm going to be adding some more mods today as well. We've got the FindStuff mod, which is essentially Find It from Cities 1. So props are back, and we're going to carry on developing the downtown today as well. But in today's episode, I want to start building up the centre of Bourbon and also introducing some pretty massive healthcare infrastructure into the city, which I think is where we're going to start today. So let's open up our tech tree, and I want to come into education, I think, actually both. So I want to do medical. I want to grab the medical university, which is going to provide academic schooling for medical professions, increasing the efficiency of healthcare service buildings, which is wonderful. Speaking of those buildings, I'd also like to dive into healthcare and grab the Disease Control Center, which is the study of pathogens, toxins, and hereditary diseases and ways to treat them to help citizens recover from even the most serious of conditions. So we'll grab that. Well, so Center of Bourbon is going to be this big healthcare campus, essentially, and I think we're going to put it here. So this medical university is absolutely vast, so we're going to need to fracture our road hierarchy ever so slightly. But let's come into it. We're going to grab ourselves the medical university. Now we've also got some work to do with Egginburgh's education system today as well, elementary and college. But for the meanwhile, placing that building actually unlocks us pharma, which is pharmaceutical production, endeavouring to make the products accessible to all, has a positive effect on citizen health and well-being. So how American, right? We've just unlocked essentially big pharma for our American town, which is very sort of thematic, isn't it? So let's have a look at this beast. This is the medical university, and I think even if we were to jump back across the river into Bourbon, this thing is vast. It's absolutely massive. So it's certainly going to be one of the taller buildings in Bourbon. But let's finally know I want to use all these chunky assets over here, because the Bourbon's going to be the biggest town in the map, I think. Almost bordering upon becoming a city itself. So let's have a look at some upgrades. So we can also have the extension wing, which is going to give us more capacity, which I feel like is a good thing. Now, if we were to have a look at our education, that gives us a lot of university capacity, which we probably won't need any universities for quite a while now. So let's have that. We also have a practice clinic where citizens near the university can be treated here and gain a boost to their health, which is plus 5% health within a kilometre. So this is a little modular attachment. How about we have this there? Just next door to that big extension wing. It's not horrendous, is it? You'd also notice we're playing with the new Find It mod as well today, so before I get this is here. So Find It has been released for CS2, which is absolutely wonderful, because we can now filter for props, and we can grab, for example, a bench. There is no thumbnails in the mod yet, which is a little bit of a shame, but it does give us access to the base game props, which means we can now make proper parks, which is absolutely game-changing. The addition of benches and gazebos into a park space makes a massive difference, so we can certainly do a lot more detailing going forward in the city, which I hope you're all looking forward to. Cool. So I'm happy with that. Let's have a look what else we can put onto it. There's also research facilities, which research work increases the student's chance of graduating. And is that going to sit and fit right behind it? Isn't it? Absolutely wonderful. So I wouldn't mind having this one, say here, because what I'd like to do with this bit of the city here is to have the other asset we just unlocked, the Disease Control Center, almost as a sort of extension of the university itself. So let's place this one down and find it wherever it was. There we go. So what does this do? It reduces the health effects from pollution by 25%. That's pretty good, and minus 25% of disease infection risk as well. So that's pretty nice. So let's have a little look at this asset. So the front of it is that big building there. Let's turn off snap to road here as well. So I'd love to have the using of the asset here. Now that one's not too bad, although I think maybe the one we had it originally might be a little bit better. Of course, orientation with our larger buildings is always so important. So I think definitely blending the Disease Control Center in with the medical university is a really good call, right? Certainly think so. It also partnered really nicely with the hospital we've got over here as well. which we might end up relocating in today's episode. Maybe we'll put that over here because I want to do some commercial over here. Because I want to redevelop a lot of this into sort of low density American commercial in the crawl up to sort of central Bourbon. So we'll do that today as well. But that's pretty cool, right? Super big complex. So I also mentioned I wanted a college in here as well because we do need college education. So I'm thinking we can also have this in here as part of the medical campus and kind of treat this as though it's a sort of an older wing of the hospital. You know, like it's the old building before we got this super modern facility, I think. I think that's what we'll do with it. And to be honest, that orientation right there isn't horrific, is it? I think that's kind of quite nice. So if we maybe just centralize it a little bit more. Of course, now in our D10 time-lapse, we can do little parks around this and stuff. I think I'd be much happier with that. Let's go ahead and tree line the interior of these roads. We can make a nice sort of big park space, maybe somewhere if you are sort of receiving treatment here. You could come and sort of explore the grounds of this hospital and chill out over this side, maybe. Don't think I'd be averse to that. And then, speaking of, let's also grab this one with no road guideline. And we'll probably wrap this around the edge of the disease control center, I think. Yeah, I'll be happy with that. And possibly provide some supplementary car parking because this place is pretty vast. So you imagine there'd be a fair amount of car parking over here. If that doesn't need to just be flattened down ever so slightly there so we don't get that awkwardness in the back of the car park. Like that should do. But we've also got Inverness Geological Institute really close to here as well, which I'm pretty happy with, to be honest, because it was almost like two competing institutes, and maybe we can give them sort of rival sports teams as well, having them so close together. I think I'll be on board with that. And certainly over here, it has to be American football, right? We're in the American town. So let's do American football field. I think we'll have this across the road. Something like that, I think. So we'll detail this in our time lapse today, but otherwise that's a pretty kind of impressive institute, isn't it? A real eye draw really dominates the town, I think, doesn't it? Even from the highway here, kind of as you're driving through Bourbon, you can really see it from over there, can't you? So I think I'm pretty happy with it. I think I like that. So let's turn our attention to this little main street here as we come off the highway. I'd love to have some commercial out here. So let's make sure we're using North American zoning for this. And let's go 6 deep. So I'd love to have some... Oh, then again, I don't want you guys... Let's not zone that last tile, because I don't want them facing on the one-way frontage roads. Yes, that's fine, I think I'm happy with that. So I want that kind of classic American high street where it's got lots of low density sort of commercial and car parking as well. Definitely want to mix and match some car parks in here. Probably just small parking lots will do. Next door to office zoning. And then we'll keep this going as well and slowly start crawling up in height here as we begin to build up the middle of Bourbon. Which we will actually add in some more. So I also want lots more mixed use over here as well. Which I think we're going to upzone this low density that we placed around the Jegsy Left interchange. So we'll have that there. Now, of course, we've also got a surface painter built in to find it as well now, because we can actually search for surfaces. So if we clear our criteria here and then we ask for surface without filtering for props, and there's a whole bunch of different ones. So you can get sand surface here, pavement surface is the one I want here, and it functions exactly the same as the other surface painter. So you could come in here and then just sketch out this surface to fill whatever you want, and then boom, we now have concrete surface painter, which is an absolute game changer. Absolutely huge, enormous fan of that. So we can paint out a lot of the awkward spaces that now develop between the zones, which for me is one of the biggest sort of takeaways from vanilla CS, is that we can't place that surface down because it makes it so jarring, especially in places like this. Like this would definitely be concrete back here. So really good that we can do that now. Prime example of it happening right there. So we'll let that density grow up around the center. I'd also like some North American commercial here as well, of the high density variety. And let's get this growing around here, I think. Maybe keep some more mixed use in here as well. I'm definitely a fan of the mixed use over high density, I think. We'll have this one growing around here. Want lots of height growing up around the center of Bourbon. Want everything to kind of like crescendo up to this point, if you know what I mean. And I wouldn't mind some actual high density housing as well. Why don't we see if we can zone up some here? We've no demand for it at the minute, but it will come in as the education satisfies itself. For which we are going to actually put in some education, because we do have... You boys alright? Weather damage? Did I just miss a tornado or something? What the hell just happened? What's gone wrong? I have no idea what is happening right now. It's sunny. And there's car crashes everywhere. What the hell? What the hell happened? Damaged by bad weather. Is there a tornado I'm not seeing here? There's a very small localized sort of tornado, I guess, or maybe it was one of those hailstorms. I've no idea what happened there. But anyway, let's carry on. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. Yeah, so I want to get some education in today. I'm going to name some of our patrons after it as well. Well, after the kids. But first of all, I want some North American row housing in here. So let's do 6 deeps. We'll let these grow up. And then same again the other side. And I'd like these to run up to the hospital, I think. It's going to be quite a distinctive visual of the town, I think, having these row houses down here. And yeah, let's do those as well. We can get those end pieces in once the other ends have grown. Cool, so I think the other side of the highway we're going to have a lot of low density sprawl out here up toward the airport, but that'll be another episode to work this side of the highway. I want to focus on bringing a lot of density into central Bourbon today. Cool, so don't mind that. Let's get one of our elementary schools in, because I imagine we're going to need a couple of them today. So we'll have this one here in our suburbs. I don't care for the child clinic, it's not really needed, I don't think. And we'll grab the extension, and then I'd also like the playground as well. And looks like it's an opportunity to add the playgrounds in here, maybe. Do those there. I'd be pretty happy with that. And then this looks like a really good opportunity actually to use that surface painter, doesn't it? Let's just see what's possible with this now. But yeah, you can even see where it's all set up on the existing buildings, can't you, with these node frames. Let's bring that down on a 90-degree angle. And so we'll do that, so let's do it this way first. Go that way. So we want 90 degrees. And then that one there. Although that is the wrong coloured surface. So we'll try that again. Oh wow, just also realised you can manipulate the nodes on the existing building as well. That is not something I realised. But we'll come back to that at a later date. There we go. So now we can just have that texture extend out the back of the school where it would make sense. And we'll place in some of our own oak trees. And look how much better a very simple find it function makes to the game. Why isn't that in the game? Why didn't they put that in? Who knows? But either way, what an improvement, right? What an improvement that is. So we'll have that there. We can also do the same out here as well, I guess, if we wanted to. But we will wait and see. So we'll wait for some kids to rock up. Because, like I said, I'm doing a name the patrons, or these kids after the patrons, so the patrons are alive for a lot longer, because they all died off quite quickly last time. So, wait for that to come in. How's that looking? It's not too bad. I also wouldn't mind the occasional row house on this angle mixed in with the commercial. So let's do some of that. Let's do a couple of row houses, then maybe an office, and maybe a bit more commercial. Like that. Maybe a row house over that side, and then down this way as well. That sort of vibe. Have some row housing mixed in on the actual high street too. Which is starting to get a little busier now, which I'm glad to see. Yeah, this is exactly what I want definitely lots of sort of gas stations right on the exit to the highway here. That's very thematic. Getting another building there as well. Yeah, but already, it's nice to see that sprawl now developing across Bourbon, isn't it? And this highway frontage system has actually been holding up really nicely. So hopefully it will continue to sustain itself over time. Doesn't show any signs of backing up right now. Of course, there's so many opportunities for more slip lanes to just peel people off into the wider network too, if we need to do that. We'll try and maintain the road hierarchy if we can. So there's a car crash there, that's fine, but now we're starting to see that high-rise come in around central Bourbon, which is delicious. But I do still want to keep providing density, so let's make sure we get more people into the Bourbon education system. How about another school this side of the town near the football pitch? Let's place another one down. Let's do that there. And we can maybe do a little more detailing outside this one, so why don't we grab... not the tree, let's do the extension to bring the capacity up. Have playground next to the road. We'll also have the child's clinic here as well. And then again, we'll use that surface painter. Go ahead and grab surface painter 1. And we can see where it wants to click in. Let's go from there. I'm going to bring this down on 90 degrees. And then we'll feed it off in a couple of different directions. We'll have it run down to there. And then we can just pretend like these are pathways. We'll have it come down that way. And then we'll feed it back up to here. Cool. So obviously just remove any trees that are sat in the pathway. And just, what a difference, right? I always kind of champion, we say it in Cities 1 all the time, that just a change in texture on the ground can make a massive difference to a build. I think oftentimes if you're sat there looking at something and you're just not feeling it, even if it's just a change in ore texture, specifically in Cities 1 with the surface painter, resource painter from extra landscaping tools, makes an enormous difference, doesn't it? So exactly the same process here, just a little bit of concrete texture just to indicate a path. You even do it with dirt as well if you want like a well-trodden pathway. Much more fun to be had with schools now, just with the addition of Find It Right. I highly recommend getting it. If you're on the Thunder store, it's just called FindStuff, I think. But absolutely delicious. Enormous fan of that mod. Really am. It's very cool, as you can see. We'll have that there. That's very fun. How's our density come up here as well? Let's keep getting in some of this row housing here. I'd like this to extend all the way up. Let's do some parks here, actually. Let's do some parks. Let's give them some small parks on the street corners. The old dog park as well, who's always a faithful, isn't it? Let's have that there. How about a couple of little skate park here, maybe? Of course, I'd love to save some space for our detailing time-lapse, where we're going to have lots of park benches and whatnot out here. So let's have this one come down, and then let's turn... I would like to save, especially along the main street, I think maybe this space here will have as a big park area. I think that would be quite a nice complement to have a bit of a green crawl up to that major building, rather than surrounding it with density. So what's going on here? This is North American high density commercial, isn't it? Which I really don't like, actually. I really hate these assets. They're not my favourite in the game. But we'll at least let them level up a little bit rather than immediately voiding them. So we'll see what happens. So we're getting this high density, well, this is mixed use, isn't it? But it essentially looks like high density around central Bourbon. I think we'll also de-zone in the middle of Jegsy Left interchange, so we won't let anything grow here. So again, this will almost serve as a bit of green belt as well. But is the zoning corrected there? Is that why it's not growing on this side? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Because it was aligned to the other road. Let's change that then. We'll just break the zoning with that one and align it from this side. There we go. Now if we delete this road now, we should be happy. Are we going to grow that direction? Gosh, yes we will. Absolutely fabulous. And how are we feeling about the row housing mixed in with the commercial there? On sort of Main Street America, if you like. I think we'll definitely get some trees down here too. And this little central reservation that runs down Foggy Street. We'll have that come in there. What time of day is it? 10:54. Can we see any kids in the school? Hopefully see them arrive eventually. But I'm definitely on board with having that row housing factored into the high street. So let's get a couple of rows of it, and then the space left between. We'll just fill in with that residential again. Not residential, commercial. And then a little bit of office zoning in between. We do have pretty insatiable office zoning, don't we? So why don't we see if we can have some larger high density office towers now start to grow? See what we can get in. And I know these buildings tend to grow pretty tall, which I'm happy with. Do we maybe want to also explore Big Pharma? So what does this do? A +1 university graduation chance, +5% interest in university education, and +2% industrial efficiency. Let's just place this building down and see what we think. Yeah, so it's definitely an industrial unit, isn't it? I don't think I want this in the town. We'll probably put this on the outskirts somewhere. Or maybe just include it in an industrial area whenever we need that big industrial unit. But we won't have it here, I don't think. Cool. So let's start playing with this big green belt idea as the rest of the towers grow up. I'd like to get some high density residential in here as well. So I think we just need the demand for that, don't we? Although let's first of all have a look at these towers. I do want Bourbon to be significantly taller than Whiskey. I think there's a level 5, isn't it, this one? Yeah, it is, so just needs time to level up, I think, doesn't it? So we'll get it taller. Definitely want some towers around here as well, where we've actually broken our road hierarchy here, haven't we? So let's have this come down this way. I like to maintain lots of tight, zonable structure around that space there. We'll have that hook back into the main road. And let's start getting some office towers along here as well. Not sure how big we want them to grow, really. Keep trying them out, though. A little bit more mixed use as well. Keep satisfying that medium density demand. Got people whinging of pedestrian access around the back there, but we'll see if we can sort that out. We'll let it grow first. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's keep building up the density. Now let's have some here. This isn't going to grow as high density here, is it? There we go, the Iron Press building. Books to nourish the mind and soul with luxury apartments on top. The bottom floor bookstore stocks everything from the ordinary to the esoteric. Wonderful. Okay. So we've got another signature building to place. That's one of our mixed use ones. I think we had this in New Friendwood, didn't we? This Iron Press building. Well, let's have it on our main street then. We'll have it here. And then we'll zone up a little bit of high density commercial next door. And I want to make sure we, obviously, as always in Cities Skylines, is respect the crawling height. I want to start out low here and eventually crawl further and further up to create what is going to be Bourbon's skyline, right? So yeah, I want to create a big park area here. So if we were to dive into the world of actual large parks, I want to put stuff like large plazas in. We'll have large city park here. And just mix and match lots of other random bits and pieces. What else do we have? There's a water park as well. Which we haven't really placed yet, have we? I don't want that here though. Not in the city centre, I don't think. Let's also grab... There's also the Ferris wheel, which is enormous. It's just absolutely vast, isn't it? We've got the National Diet Building. The Botanical Garden. Yeah, I think Botanical Garden certainly deserves its own placement, doesn't it? Not just here within a sort of green space park, so we'll keep it to the smaller ones. We'll have a small playground over this side. And we'll have a dog park up here on the corner. And I wouldn't mind some actual car parking in the park as well. So bring an alleyway road out to accommodate that. And then we'll have a medium parking lot here. And then let's start feeding lots of pathways across this place. not create pedestrian crossings though, because I don't want to risk breaking the zone in. Have that one go down there. This can meander around to go up with. Real shame we can't draw the pathways off of these assets. I don't know why they took that functionality away from the CS1 park. It was very nice to just blend them into existing parkland, wasn't it? Then we'll feed this one into the center. Let's keep on existing geometry snapping just so we can get a firmer little snap. And just start creating all these little sort of meandering pathways. A little bit of commercial would be welcome as well, just to have a kind of a small store near the park where you can get something to drink, etc. And then we have all this sort of stuff in, because we have Find It, we can now search for our favourite props, such as gazebos 1 through 3. We can have a gazebo there. And then because we also have the tree controller now, we can surround our gazebo with a couple of choice trees, including birches. A couple little flowers here as well. Fully grown. Let's get some more cultivated bushes in. And before you know it, you can now just create a little centerpiece for your park, just with some very basic props that should be in the game. Enormous difference, right? Absolutely enormous difference. So we'll definitely flesh out that big green space park here during our detail time-lapse today. But certainly want to have that so it kind of really draws the eye to that big central building. And what's going on? Why is Inverness now just being destroyed? The weather's okay, and then it all gets fixed again. It's so random. What the hell is happening there? Maybe that's mod conflicts or something? I've absolutely no idea. Anyway, we'll have to hopefully just hope that doesn't keep happening. And then one final block here of medium density row housing. That will keep them 6 deep. Send them this way. Same thing over here. Then I wouldn't mind an actual apartment building here. Let's go for a chunky number. And then we'll come back down into a little bit more office space. And then we'll do commercial. So we've got a real mix and match of densities and styles of zoning down Main Street here, off the highway. I think we're starting to achieve that more American vibe, aren't we? Are they the kids? Are they going to school? Where are you kids going? No. There is a distinct lack of children knocking around in Egginburgh though, isn't there? Oh no, there you go. You all the kids? You're just hanging around? Child, yes, wonderful. Okay, let's do some patron naming. So first and foremost, we're going to do Anthony, because he's been waiting for a name for a long time. Of course, he actually owns the bar in Inverness as well. Thank you for all your support, Anthony. You're our legend, mate. We also have Spartan Angel in here as well. Thank you for your very long-standing support, Spartan. He has been around for ages. I'm just going to have the old faithful John Robinson, one of our egg yolks. Thank you so much for your support, John. Welcome to Bourbon. We're also going to have the beautiful DJ as well, who's been around forever. Thank you for your support, DJ. Really appreciate it, lovely. We're also going to welcome Lucara into the city as well. Welcome in, Lucara. Thank you for all your support. And Baba Fett, which is Baba Fett's long-lost brother, now lives in Bourbon. Thank you for all your support, Baba. And of course, the legend that is Ron Hewins now also resides in the town of Bourbon. Thank you for all your support, Ron. And we're also going to get the legend that is Scope, who of course designs the Orchid Bay billboards for us. Thank you for all your support, Scope, and multiple Spice of the Month winner as well. So, we now have, hopefully, some long-standing patrons in. There's a lot of children in here. Claire is still an adult. We'll see what Claire's up to, why she's the last one remaining from the old batch. Claire is living the life on the couple system in Bourbon. Very nice. Oh, whiskey rather. What the hell is going on here, man? Weather damage? There's weather damage all over the city, just sporadically, then it's instantly fixed. Don't know what's going on. I don't have a clue. Don't have a clue. But either way, this must be like a good point for a detailing time lapse. I want to keep getting in these densities here. Carry on the same process out here as well with the row housing, ready to keep creating that kind of low to medium to high density core that we're generating in Bourbon. I'll probably chuck in another school as well, because I don't think we're quite over the threshold, are we? Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 more needed around the town. And then do some prop detailing for the first time as well, because we've now got access to the Find It mod, which is absolutely delicious. So expect some props to appear around the park and whatnot, a little bit more commercial. And we'll get this detailed up as well with paths and a bit more car parking. Do that park around here as well for the big medical campus district. Otherwise, let's detail up Central Bourbon, and then we'll be right back. Okay guys, let's have a little scan around what's happened in downtown Bourbon, shall we? So I'm really happy with the American vibes generated here. A nice crawl up to the density that's starting to develop around the central arterial. So down Foggy Street we got lots of car park and the commercial. And there's a ton of dogs in Bourbon. Everywhere you look, there's just dogs everywhere. There was a woman walking earlier with like 20 of them. There's just tons of dogs for some reason. I don't know if that's changed with the patch, but I'm definitely noticing a lot more dogs. Yeah, this person's walking with 5 dogs. Like, I love dogs, but 5 of them. There's another one there with 4 dogs. 6 dogs even. It's crazy. There's one over here. He's got 3 of them. These people have got 5. It's just crazy. Absolute dog city around Bourbon. People can't get enough. But either way, please enjoy the crawl up to that big central university, which is pretty much going to be central Bourbon. It's a big dominant asset, isn't it? And then we'll come down the main street where this height begins to develop. We've done lots of the old surface painter. Now, having that surface painter manipulation trick with the new Find It mod is incredible. Being able to drag those surfaces out to cover areas is fantastic. We've done it all the way through here. Now, this is just manipulating the surface that's already part of the asset. You can just pull and fill it. That is such a good surface painter functionality. How I wish Cities 1 had that. Just so good. Massive fan of that, and it really opens up the possibilities for detailing now. And just as we get more used to the game and the assets that come with it. It's really promising, so super happy to have the Find It mod finally in CS2. Then we dropped into props over here, just our first CS2 prop work, some simple park benches with a fountain and some more benches, a couple of kiosks and a gazebo with some fun path networks that all feed back to the main street. And there's a real kind of park heavy centre that's developed right in the middle of Bourbon, which I'm really happy with. It's kind of a bit of a central park vibe, isn't it? Tons of row housing facing into the park, again, which is super American. I really like all this stuff through here, lots of back garden stuff going on down there, lots of residentials, and then all the same through here as well, near the school that we saw during the episode. So I'm really happy with how all this medium density has grown up. Nice busy car park here as well, right on the main street. But yeah, really happy with this view, and of course we'll continue to flesh out this sort of design as we begin to work on what is the, I guess, northern side of Bourbon as we come to develop this area, and we're definitely going to do that big sort of mirror image or mirror opposite, I guess, of the whiskey port. We'll definitely do this as a big sort of park green belt, which would be quite nice for Bourbon. But expect sort of a similar vibe to develop over this side once we get over there. And then toward the university, like we said, just got this park over here, dropped in a couple of mirrored park assets just to give a bit of symmetry directly outside of the university itself, which looks really cool. Especially with that tram going past there as well, which is super nice to see. Did some more of the service painter work around this elementary school. Just to keep bringing those demands up, so we finally got some higher density demand. To keep the school system intact. And just simple service painter. It makes a vast difference, doesn't it? And then we got a fire station in here as well, because we were getting quite a few fires knocking around in Bourbon. So they now have their own fire station and police station, of course, plus a ton of medical care. No one in Bourbon, well, no one who lives in Bourbon is getting sick. There's a massive hospital, there's a university and the disease control centre, so possibly the most clean and sterile place ever. There ain't no germs in Bourbon thanks to all the medical care they've got here. A little bit of mixed use and high density combinations along the main street, and I really enjoy the view down Main Street Bourbon here. Again, we're not really prioritising the car here. There's loads of parks, and tram is definitely the go-to option here to get people back into the town, of course, which goes back to the major transport hub we built last episode. And then down here, we've got a nice disease control centre, and I love this corner right here. And that's such a nice blending of the assets, I think. We've got us over here where there's some more office zoning in the park next to our car park. Then our big sort of medical campus park is around here with a fountain and some basic bench work, kind of a place to sit and reflect. Maybe if you know you're one of the sick patients here, then you can come and sit here and reflect on life, etc. Whether it's more gazebos, more parkland with some cultivated bush #1, prop line tool work just to help give a bit of a border to those fields. Wanted to use the stone mining quarry as a bit of a construction site. This is an idea from $2.20 that he did in his initial New Dollarton build. Really cool repurposing of the stone quarry here to create kind of a construction site in the downtown. And that does have more apartment buildings in here. Again, you can see where we've done more of that surface painter work to just drag it around the buildings from already existing buildings, and it makes a massive difference. Same over here again as well, like we shown earlier. So having that concrete space and even seeing the paths flow through it, it's a game changer, really. Quite literally as well. It really kind of broadens the mind for many different possibilities of detailing now with surfaces and the way that those kind of node surface painters are working. Should have a lot more fun, I think, going forward in Egginburgh. Now we have the Find It mod, of course, the prop line tool. We're essentially playing now with Orchid Bay's quality of life mod list, all those quality of life improvements I personally wanted in CS2, the Find It and the prop line tools. We've got them now, so hopefully they're not going to break the save at some point, but if we do, I guess we can just start a new city. Otherwise, that is going to do it for today, guys. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. If you're enjoying watching Bourbon go out, please leave me a like, comment, and a share below. Really helps to grow the channel and to bring more people in on our relentless march for 100,000 subscribers. Getting closer each week, so thank you for all support on the channel. Massive shout out to all the patrons who are supporting the channel as well. Thank you for all the donations you guys give each month, and if you're interested in getting involved in that, there's a Patron exclusive podcast, there's previews and early access when possible, and instant gaming links down below as well, so you can get yourself a super cheap deal over there as well, which all helps support the work we do over on the channel. Either way, I'm really enjoying growing out Central Bourbon. We've got so much more to do in this town before we head elsewhere across the map, so get used to seeing Bourbon. We will be here for a while, and maybe we'll add the airport next episode. I want to get some air travel into the city. It might be quite cool. And let's name some more of those outside connections as well after your guys' cities, so get them down in the comments below so you can have Edinburgh planes flying out to your city, which hopefully might be cool. I hope anyway. Either way, please do enjoy today's cinematics of the developments around Central Bourbon, but otherwise I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.